Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanande. Sorry, you can just leave it here. Thank you. Sarva Sastrati Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Sadphala, Sarva Sadantara, Nadya, Sarva Laikaika Trikpada, I nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths. You are the only giver of sights of all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Shrimad Bhagavata Prabhu, Kalidvanto Ditya, Shri Krishna Parvatata, O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali, you are the exact image of Shri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya, Prema Varshaksharayate, Sarvada Sarvasevaya, Shri Krishna Namostume. I bow down to you who is supremely blissful. Every syllable pours down the flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone if you are Shri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Maguru Mamahadana Manistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my saviour, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu Saruta Dayin Nati Nishashtata Kara Hanamanjakada Chinmam Premdahrit Kantayospara. I bestow saintliness to the unsaintly. I exalt to the most fallen. Please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 7, entitled The Sacrifice Performed by Daksha, text number 35. Please repeat. Sitha uchahu Ayang tvatkata mrishta piyushanadyang Manovarana klesha davagni dagdaha Trisharto vidgadho na sasmaradavam Na nishkramati brahma sampanavannaha Sitha uchahu Ayang tvakata mrishta piyushanadyang Manovarana klesha davagni dagdaha Trisharto Vadagadho Nasasmaradavam Na nishkramati brahma sampanavannaha Siddha uchahu Ayang tvakatam rishta piyushanadyam Manovarana klesha davagni dagdaha Trisharto vagadho nasasmaradavam Nanishkramati brahma sampanavannaha Please chant. Siddha uchaha Vakatam rishta piyushanatam Trisharto vigadho nasasmaradavam Anishkramati brahma sampanavannaha Siddha uchaha Tvakatam rishta piyushanadyam Manovarana klesha Messages? Siddha uchu Ayam tvakatam rishta piyushanadyam Manovarana klesha davam Anishkramati brahma Siddha uchu Ayam tvakatam rishta piyushanadyam Manovarana klesha davagni Word for word, please repeat. Siddha, the sitters. Uchahu, prayed. Ayam, this. Tvatkatha, your pastimes. Mrishta, pure. Piyusha, of nectar. Nadyam, in the river. Mana, of the mind. Varana, the elephant. Klesha, sufferings. Dava Agni, by the forest fire. Dagdha, burned. Trisha, thirst. Arita, afflicted. Avagadha, being immersed. Nasasmara, does not remember. Davam, the forest fire, or the miseries. Nanishkramati, not come out. Brahma, the absolute. Sampanna vat, like having merged. Na, are. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya. Translation. The Siddhas prayed, like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire but cannot forget all its troubles by entering a river. Our minds, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging into the Absolute. Purport. This statement is from the Siddhas, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the 8 kinds of material perfection are complete. The residents of Siddhaloka have full control in the 8 kinds of yogic perfection, but from their statement it appears that they are pure devotees. They always merge in the nectarian river of hearing of the pastimes of the Lord. Hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is called Krishna Katha. Similarly, there is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj that those who are always merged in the ocean of the nectar of describing the Lord's pastimes are liberated and have no fear of the material condition of life. The Siddhas say that the mind of an ordinary person is full of anxieties. The example is given of an elephant who has suffered in a forest fire and who enters into a river for relief. If persons who are suffering in the forest fire of this material existence will only enter into the nectarian river of the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord, they will forget all the troubles of the miserable material existence. The Siddhas do not care for fruitive activities, such as performing sacrifices and achieving the good results. They simply merge in the transcendental discussions of the pastimes of the Lord that makes them completely happy, without care for pious or impious activities. Krishna consciousness is itself complete, for it includes all the processes praised in the Vedic scriptures. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bhangul Lagete Gurim Yakripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, we hear in the very beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he petitions Lord Chaitanya. He says, Krishnot Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Patonjani Prajita Sadbhakta Vale Hangsa Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karnanari Kaladvanir Vahatume Jiva Mare Prangune Shri Chaitanya Dayanite Tavalasau Lila Shutsudha Svardhuni. He says, O most merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying those waters are the loud singing, dancing and chanting of Krishna's holy names, which are the pleasure abodes of the unalloyed devotees. The devotees are compared to swans, ducks and bees. The water produces a melodious sound which gladdens their ears. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport to this verse, he says that Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement is full of dancing and singing about the pastimes of Lord Krishna, which is like the celestial Ganges, which is full of lotus flowers, and the devotees are expert in enjoying those lotus flowers. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he desires such sweetly flowing waves to always cover his tongue. He very humbly compares himself to a materialistic person who is always engaged in dry talk from which they derive no satisfaction. But if they were to use their dry tongues to chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as exemplified by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they would taste sweet nectar and enjoy life. So actually this is real life. This is real life. Engaging in Krishna Katha, the Krishna Kathamrita, the nectar, the nectarian glories of the pastimes of Sri Krishna. And actually this is the only way in which one can conquer death. By engaging in Krishna Katha, one actually becomes free from death. In the beginning of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami, he says, Ayo hanti vai pungsang udyanastang chayanaso tasyarte yachano nita uttama shloka vartaya. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life for everyone, except for those who are engaged in glorifying the all-good Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, when we see a sunrise or a sunset, they look so beautiful, so captivating. People travel to different parts of the world just to see the sunrise. They can be very spectacular. They illuminate the sky with all different colors. And people in general glorify, beautiful sunsets and sunrises, but they fail to see that by the rising and the setting of the sun, the duration of their life is being being diminished. That actually, yes, the only means to attain real life is by engaging in Krishna Katha. So we want to become a Krishna addict. We want to become addicted to Krishna Katha. There are so many different types of addictions that one can have in this material world, right? You can become addicted to chocolate, but you get fat. You can become addicted to nicotine and you destroy your lungs. You can become addicted to alcohol and you destroy your liver. You can become addicted to drugs and you can destroy your whole body, your brain, your liver, everything. And there are meetings that people go to when they become addicts, right? There's the Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. The temple could say we are Krishna Anonymous. So, yes, there are many different types of addictions. Actually, the living entity has to become addicted to something. They have to become absorbed in something. But the addictions in this material world are self-destructive. They literally destroy the self, cover the self with ignorance. But by engaging in Krishna Katha, the living entities, they actually become free from samsara, free from the cycle of birth and death. There is nothing glorified more in this world than becoming addicted to Krishna Katha. It's stated throughout all the Vedas that one who becomes addicted to Krishna Katha, then they are assured of success in life. So this is our mission. This is our mission, to become addicted to hearing and glorifying the pastimes, qualities, name, form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One day, Swarup Damodar Goswami, he approached Lord Chaitanya. And he said to Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath Das, he has something to ask you. Raghunath Das says, I do not know what my duty is. I do not know what the goal of my life is. Please give me some instruction from your lotus mouth. And Lord Chaitanya, he says, I've already explained to him that you, Swarup Damodar, are his instructor. But nevertheless, since he has inquired, I shall give some instruction. The very first instruction that came from the lotus mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gramya Katha no Shunibe. Do not listen to Gramya Katha. Gramya means a village. Like we have Nandagram, we have Ketari Gram. The Gram means village, so Katha is talk. This Gramya Katha, village talk, Srila Prabhupada explains when a man and woman get married and they beget children, topics of this subject matter is called Gramya Katha. just for the record, it's different for devotees. Lord Chaitanya glorified his Grihastha devotees for begetting Krishna-conscious children. So this is ordinary. Prabhupada translates Gramya Katha as ordinary discussions by ordinary men of a materialistic nature. So, Gramya Katha na shunebe. This is the first instruction that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. Do not hear the worldly discussions of ordinary men. So we find that actually this bickering and backstabbing and spreading rumors, even in the Vaishnava community, which I hope doesn't happen, but unfortunately in some places it does. But this is a sure way to dry up our Krishna consciousness. You see, there is a scale. On the one side, we have Gramya Katha. On the other side, we have Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha goes up, we increase our taste for Krishna Katha, and our taste for Gramya Katha diminishes. If our taste for Gramya Katha increases, our taste for Krishna Katha decreases. We lose our taste, it becomes dry. It's very simple, very simple. So we have a choice. What type of katha are we going to listen to? What type of katha are we going to engage in? This is our free will. So when one increases their taste for Gramya Katha, it's called Asat Trishna, Asat Trishna, a thirst for the mundane. And this thirst for materialistic topics it is actually so dissatisfying. Actually, and quite distressful. Actually, when devotees, they engage in this Gramya Katha, they commit offenses. They commit offenses to the Lord because they're wasting their human form of life. So it's all about becoming conscious of our words, speaking in the mode of goodness. We have to be very conscious about what we're saying, about whom, when, and to who. So we can pray like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities always flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. So we find in Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita the description of the qualities of Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. It's described how his voice was as sweet as a cuckoo. And he would recite each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam in 3 or 4 different ways, in 3 or 4 different tunes. When he would recite or hear about the beauty of Krishna and his sweetness, he would become overwhelmed with ecstatic love and become oblivious to everything else. He surrendered fully at the lotus feet of Govinda, and those lotus feet became his very life and soul. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he neither heard or would speak about anything of this material world. He would simply discuss Krishna and worship of the Lord day and night. And he would never, ever listen to the blasphemy of a Vaishnava. If someone talked about the misbehavior of a Vaishnava, he would immediately leave that place. Immediately leave that place. It is so contaminating. And as far as Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was concerned, that everyone was engaged in Krishna's service. And that is a fact. From the vision of a Bhagavad, he sees everyone is engaged in devotional service. Maya is a devotee of Krishna. When living entities serve Maya, indirectly they are serving Krishna through his devotee. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami saw everyone as engaged in Krishna's service. And he did not know anything else apart from Krishna Katha. So this Sankirtan, this congregational glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is our ticket to Goloka Vrindavan. We hear in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita the story of Gopakumar and how he traversed throughout the entire material creation. He went to Svargaloka, to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Then he went through the 7 coverings of the universe to Mahakalapur, where he had darshan of Lord Shiva, and then he received instruction from the Vishnu Dutas. And what were the Vishnu Dutas' instructions to him? That one Gopakumar had traversed throughout the different planetary systems and all the way to the abode of liberation through chanting his mantra, through chanting japa. So the Vishnu Dutas instruct him that if you want to go to Vaikuntha, if you want to go to the spiritual realm, then you have to perform Sankirtan. So they instructed him, go back to Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan on earth, and loudly chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. So that's what Gopakumar did. He went back to Brajabhumi and developed ecstatic love for the Supreme Lord by loudly chanting His holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then one day, the Vishnu Dutas, the same Vishnu Dutas who had instructed him, appeared on their Vimana and took Gopakumar to Vaikuntha. Then when Gopakumar was in Vaikuntha with Lord Narayan, he still felt some sort of dissatisfaction in his heart. And therefore, Narada Muni came and instructed him, move on. So then he went to Ayodhya. And still then he went further on to Dwarka. And then Narada Muni appeared to Gopakumar again. And Gopakumar was astonished. She said, Narada, like everywhere I go, I see you. you know, like throughout all the everywhere in the material world, and then in the spiritual realm, Narada Muni is there. So Gopakumar is shocked to see Narada Muni. You're here in Dwaraka. And Narada Muni, he says to Gopakumar, he says, I can't believe, that I am shocked at you. Everywhere you go, you're dissatisfied. And therefore, Uddhava comes as well, and there's this beautiful conversation between Narada Muni, Uddhava, and Gopakumar. Narada Muni, he glorifies the residents, the Brajavasis. And Uddhava explains very elaborately the glories of Vrindavan Dham, of Goloka Vrindavan. But it's a very, very special type of prema, Goloka prema, that one has to have become qualified, one has to achieve to enter Goloka Vrindavan. So therefore Uddhava, he tells Gopakumar that actually the best place where you can develop this prema is Brajabhumi. So Gopakumar went all the way to the abode of liberation through traversing all the planetary systems in this material world, and then he got sent back to Brajabhumi. Then he went all the way to Vaikuntha, to Ayodhya, Dwarka, and then he gets sent back to Brajabhumi. So when it was at that point, that Gopakumar developed the prema, developed a love for Krishna that qualified him to enter Goloka Vrindavan. So we cannot enter Goloka Vrindavan unless we become addicted to glorifying and hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because guess what? All they're doing in Goloka Vrindavan is glorifying Krishna, hearing and glorifying Krishna, non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, although time doesn't exist in Goloka Vrindavan like it does here, but all they are doing is constantly hearing about and glorifying the Supreme Lord. So now we are in the stage of sadhana bhakti. That we are in the stage of practicing. So we are practicing constantly hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord to give us qualification. Satam prasangam mamavirya samvidho bhavanti hritkana rasayana kataha tajjoshanarash pavarkavartmani shradharatir bhaktir anukramishati. In the association of pure devotees, descriptions of the activities and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are very pleasing both to the ear and to the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one becomes advanced on the path of liberation. And then one's mind becomes fixed. And then real devotion and devotional service manifest. Prabhupada used this term very often, fixed up. Fixed up. We want to become fixed up in devotional service. We want to become fixed in hearing and chanting. When you fix something on the wall and it doesn't fall down, it stays in that position. So that's what we want to be like. We want to be completely fixed, like glued to hearing and chanting about Krishna. At that point, our success is assured. So this is our life and soul. We want to cultivate and practice hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. And that way, very, very quickly, go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, I'll stop there. Is there any questions or comments? Anything anyone would like to add? Anyone would like to churn the ocean of Krishna Katha? Where is Siddhaloka? Well, it is stated in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. I can't remember exactly which planetary system it is in. Maybe Maharloka or Janaloka. Do you remember? No?
I can remember there's Tapu, Mahar and Jalas in that.
Yeah. So it's above Spargaloka, but I'm not sure exactly where. Which planetary system. Anyone else have any questions?
Thank you for this class. I was particularly appreciative of you explaining the dangers of being involved in Grammy Katha. When our taste for Grammy Katha goes up, then our taste for Krishna Katha goes down. And I was just meditating and thinking about how I've been in some situations where I'm in particular association of devotees, maybe newer devotees, and the topics kind of veer, more towards mundane things. And I've wondered, obviously I don't have much realization and taste for Krishna Katha, but I can kind of get a feeling, okay, this is going in not the best direction. So I was just wondering if you have maybe some realization what to do in that situation, how to respond. You don't always want to just say, stop talking about this. I'm just wondering if you have anything to say about that.
Yeah, if it's the best way to deal with that is to try and link the topic back to Shastra. Oh, in Bhagavad Gita it says this about... That's the best way to do it. But obviously if we don't have that knowledge, then that's a bit troublesome. But because it is for preaching, it is for cultivating, trying to bring someone, befriend someone, so they can come to Krishna consciousness, then there is some sort of protection. There's some protection there. But if you have a sincere desire in your heart, that, you're thinking, my Lord, I know this isn't Krishna Katha, it's not what I want to hear, it's not what I want to be hearing. If that desire is there in your heart, and then there'll be protection. But if you take that as a sign to indulge, and you start getting enthusiastic, and then that's not a good sign. So, like everything in Krishna consciousness is about motivation. What's your motivation behind it? If you're engaging in some general chit-chat, about, what's going on in the world, it's not that contaminating, because you're doing it with a motivation to befriend someone or bring someone closer to Krishna. That's the underlying motive behind it. It's like when on book distribution, a lot of the time, it's just general chit-chat. You're not having deep philosophical discussions. And some people, obviously, you do, but most of the time, it's just, stress relief, what do you study, what do you work, it's just general chit-chat. But it's there with the motive to befriend the person so they can advance in their devotional service. And so the Lord recognizes that, and He gives that protection. Okay. Hare Krishna. We should be aware of what's going on in the world, but first of all we need to get it from as a reliable source as possible. Second of all, what I do personally is I just read the headlines. The news, I just see what, read the headlines, what's going on. I don't get, don't indulge in, all the details about the different articles, and unless it's, specifically relevant to my situation, or it's going to affect traveling, or, there's some, unless it affects me directly. So myself personally, I just read the headlines, don't get caught up in all the details. Does that help? Okay. Kantara Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Janisai Gaur Premanande.